We have sworn an oath to restore Biafra, or we die in the process.
Usandwe meganyo anya de lotanka indilade Usandwe meganyo ufada de lotati na chukudifo Usandwe meganyo upondo na tusie kuomo Rele lo la 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 le la 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 Really?
There will be no retreat and no surrender. If the option they give to us is to seek our restoration by violence, every living thing living in the zoo will be destroyed. All the animals will be destroyed. It's a promise and a pledge we are making to them. They must understand that we just don't love our country. We are fanatical about Biafra. We will do everything humanly possible to ensure that Biafra comes. It is either the flag of Biafra is raised up or I am lowered into the grave. One of the two must happen. It is better for this heaven and this earth not to exist than for Biafra not to come to pass. We dedicate it into the hands of Chukwu Abiyama, the creator of the heavens and the earth, because only him decreed that we should exist as a race, and only him has the say to decide and to determine if we are to survive or not. We don't rest our hopes in any man. We don't believe that any country can do anything for us. We are going to reaffirm our faith in the supremacy of the creator of the heavens and the earth, Chukwu Abiyama, upon to whom and in whom every glory and honor belongs to. That's why we worship him and nothing else and no other. We worship the one true living God. That is who we worship. That is why we were created. We are not like any other people. We have been chosen by Chukwu Abiyama to serve him. We have been chosen by the creator of the heavens and the earth that we may serve him. That is why in our names it contains every praise imaginable. Every praise imaginable to the Most High is contained within our names, because we are very special people. We are here to reaffirm and reiterate that. We are hearing that any obstacle on our way, real or imagined, man or woman, adult or child, anything it is, once you are an impediment to the restoration of the sovereignty of Biafra, you will be destroyed completely and totally. In every way imaginable. We do not forgive. There is no forgiveness in our dictionary. We are here to ensure that the death of 3.5 million people is not forgotten. It is to them that I owe every ounce of loyalty and obligation. They are not here to offer any advice or to ask us. They are not forgive the Yoruba people and the Awolowo family. The reason why we exist is to ensure that their memory, that they can never ever be forgotten, that their memory will linger on forever, that as long as man walks this earth, this world will remember the 3.5 million people that they killed, men and women that did nothing, children that were innocent. Their only crime is to be blessed by God. That is the only crime they have committed. As those children were being slaughtered, as they were being starved to death by a very wicked and cruel world, spearheaded by Awolowo, everybody looked on and did nothing. Instead of them to help us, they ensured that our absolute blockade from land, air, and sea was absolute, that we may die, that the children of God may die. But lo and behold, Chukwu Abiyama determined that we cannot die, that we cannot perish, because we are his own. Despite all our iniquities, despite all our sins, he made us in his image. He gave us that very edict to worship him, and that is what we do every blessed day on this radio station, without fail and without the fear of any human being, talk less of an animal in the zoo. We are here to worship Chukwu Abiyama. For those who don't understand what Chukwu Abiyama means, he is the creator, the supreme creator of the heavens and the earth. And to him we owe everything that we are, and upon him and to him does every honor and glory belong to. This is Radio Biafra. As I wait the barrister to join me, we must once again welcome you wherever you are, across every surface of. You don't know what it means. Most of us do not understand what it means to be a Biafran. You have not seen anything yet. I was kidnapped. I was beaten. I was spat at. My clothes were ripped from my body. Women urinated and poured it on me because of Biafra, so that they may humiliate me to such a point that I will not talk about Biafra anymore. They videoed me. Masop has a video of me where they were beating me, dragging me on the floor, tearing my clothes because I spoke the truth. That did not stop me from talking about Biafra. It did not stop me from taking Radio Biafra to Enugu. It did not stop me from broadcasting Radio Biafra from Nnewi. It did not stop me from broadcasting Radio Biafra from Onitsha, from Owerri, from Aba, from Port Harcourt. I am resolute. I don't retreat. Never. Nigeria has put me in detention before. Solitary confinement. It did not stop me from preaching Biafra. How about an imbecile somewhere talking? How can that affect me? If those that kidnapped me and nearly killed me did not stop me from doing Biafra, how about an imbecile hiding somewhere? People must know who I am. I am destructively stubborn. You see Biafra?
Good evening, fellow comrades and lovers of freedom. This is Biafra Radio, and we're reaching you from United Kingdom. My name's Mazi Umeh. I reside here in United Kingdom as one of the principal servants of Indigenous people of Biafra here in United Kingdom, and as one of the Biafra Radio hosts here in UK. And today is the 17th day year of our Lord, January 2024. And this is Good Evening London. I'm reaching you out from United Kingdom, North London to be precise. I serve as North London coordinator. And this evening, and this is Good Evening London with Mazi Umeh. And tonight we're going to talk a lot about issues bordering on the shenanigans that the zoo have them backed upon, the walk of shame that they have chosen to go, the path they have chosen, and those that have sworn that they will do anything in their power to make sure they ridicule what we are doing or to break our leader. All this whole thing is the ingredients to this freedom. And like I said, the conspiracy theory of the British government and its handlers in the zoo over the illegal detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We're going to talk about it tonight. Most importantly, the pronunciation of our supreme leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the legal failure, because so many things has happened, have swept under the carpet. But tonight, I'm going to read a couple press release, even this today. Our special counsel I've just come to see our leader. If I'm not mistaken, I think yesterday or not, but there's a press release that just come out this evening. I will dive into those press releases and we're going to harness them because most importantly, this hallowed platform is where we disseminate information true and nothing but the truth. There's no room for shenanigan or saga. When we come here, this is the place we worship, and people must take note of that. Regardless how you feel, it's not really important at this point in time. But what matters is what we are doing and what is our goals is to make sure that our leader is being released unconditionally, and they have no choice to give us what we want. I heard that Shell have packed up their stuff from the zoo. You know, a lot of things is going to happen. We are looking at 2024. 2024, there's going to be a new dimension, especially after, I mark my words somewhere, after November of this year, things are going to happen. Let's not just keep watch. But without having said that, this evening, I want to say a couple of things before I start. I don't really want to dive into a lot of stuff. This program is solemnly to dive into the issues concerning our leader and issue that whatever the value they have, all the things they have done, everybody knew that Onyendu have no case to answer. IPOB at large has no case to answer. What we are doing was something that is under the international law, self-determination. Even the African Charter as well adopted it, and the zoo itself domesticated it. So we have not committed any crime in any shape or form, but they want to hold us into submission, which is not going to happen. So what we're going to do this evening, we're going to, go into a couple, probably we're not going to be able to go into the zoo news, but most importantly, I'm going to keep it short this evening. But what matters to me is to make sure that everything concerns our leader, and especially we know what happened on the 15th of December 2023. We know as a travesty, and there's nothing to only have no case because what they are doing, they are buying time, but it's not going to work. I always make a reference of Nelson Mandela. Spent 27 years in prison. It is patient, but the most important thing, it is me and you. Everything is now boiled down to all of us. That is a fundamental thing we must do. It's not about shouting on social media or people making pronunciation, they come back up. What we are doing here is that we are freedom fighters, and those that speak less do more. Now we want to see is actions. Enough of yapping. That's all I have to say. Now, I want to show a couple stuff before I read what I want to read. And as like I said, the reason why I don't really want to flash this here, but it is imperative that we know we are making it abundantly clear for those that claim to speak on behalf of our leader. They have got no, legality or authorization to speak on behalf of Onyendu as it stands today. We saw this memo on what they put in there. I don't really want to read it. All I'm saying to you, if you come across this thing here, no, it's fake. It has got nothing. It doesn't represent Mazi Umeh in any shape or form or IPOB. Take that as a note. Very, very important that we allow people not to peddle lies on things they have said. Now, my main goal this evening is to go back, and we're going to start with the memo on 8th of January from our special counsel, Aloy Jimako. So I think we're gonna go into that particular memo, and we take them one by one. I think I got about 3 memos, but I need to just tell them through. I hope some of us have seen them. But what I'm trying to do this evening is to get us to understand the position we are in. Especially those and the Britain. Because all this whole thing is seen here, you can see that the war now is under, they got oxygen. The world is under oxygen. That oxygen, the day you took it off, everything is going to collapse. And on the verge of that, we can see what is happening across board. And because we are talking about, they were distracting people with, that's why we must learn something from what happened in the world space. If you remember a couple months ago, it was what is it called? Before 7th of October, there was invasion in Israel. Now, no one hears about Ukraine anymore to tell you that this is a man-made war. Man-made war. They created it for their own selfish interest, for depopulation and agenda they have got. But now something else that have more serious have emerged. Now the money they were soliciting to give to Israel, even American government, the House of Reps are not, senators are not approving those money, especially Ukraine. But Israel is the only ally they've got in the Middle East. So they have to be very tactical in what they do. Why am I saying this? Is that what we are facing right now, what you say, is an array of enemies within and outside. And that's what is happening today. Because everybody's here everybody's now to cash out. What they do is they speak the thing they're talking about, IPOB, Mazi, and they have a different agenda. So I just want to make that clear. And I want to say something on this platform concerning what is going on in Israel. It was an eyesore. All of us saw what happened on 7th of October. If Israel has no defense of their own, they could have been arbitrated. And somebody will be somewhere saying something contrary to this. We don't want to. We are not being biased here. But what I'm saying is that nobody could come out here to make a ridicule of ourselves and making some assertion that doesn't represent Mazi Umeh and IPOB. People saying things, they must be very guarded. I want to say here as well in this platform. Now, I just want to quickly go into the memo of 8th of January 2024. I'm going to try to read this, to my best ability, and as well to explain them, to the layman perspective. This press release was on the 8th of January 2024 from my lawyer, Jumako. To all media is addressed this. He said, Mazi Umeh decried strange delay in transmitting his case file from the Supreme Court to the Federal High Court. And it's absurd. You know what I mean? Say, during my routine visitation with Mazi Umeh today, in bracket, 8th January 2024, at the DSS in Abuja, our discussion centered mainly on the persistent failure of the Supreme Court to enroll its 15th December 2023 judgment on Kano's case transmission of the case file to Federal High Court as was ordered by the court on said 15th December. And it is an irony. All these things will tell you that all these things they are doing, we're looking at so-called, what does he call his name? Jagaban, Tinubu, everybody know that he's a puppet and he's playing on the script. The man is not well, but you don't want to get involved in that. A lot of people say, oh, he wants a freedom fight, he fought for Abiola, but it's for their own selfish interest. These people, they're fighting for their own self, not for their own people. They don't represent anybody. We can see what he's done in Lagos to start with. But now, the war, that's what I said, the conspiracy theory of British and its handler, which is the puppet they've got over there. Now, because there is no, for it to start with, Onyendu was kidnapped in Kenya on the 19th of June, 2021. Tortured for 8 days, and extraordinary rendition on his own is a crime. It's prohibited in African Charter. But everybody have forgotten that. Now we proceed. Now they brought our leader, humiliated him, and put him in solitary confinement for over 2 years plus. Over 5 months now, our leader is being confined. That trauma alone. Now, all the things they have done, when they told us they have, they have struck out seven count charges, all these things was fallacy. Today, they have reversed everything from the basics. Now they want to buy time again to keep our leader. We understand all this formation. Like I said, Mandela spent 27 years in prison. And he came out, become victorious because we set an agenda for ourselves. But the very, very important that our leader, our people must understand the time we are in. I will continue. This delay is unusual and talks unacceptable to Mazi Kano, and he strongly condemns it in totality. Every human being with a common sense, we understand that, justice for one is for all, because at the end of the day, it might be our leader today in this position. When Abiola, they recall Abiola at the end of the day, today, the Yorubas, I don't want to go into Yorubas, but today they are being compensated. That's why Obasanjo gets into power in 1999. Until today, they have carried them along, proving them that they could be who they could trust. We don't concern about all these things. Sunday Igboho today is not talking about One Nation anymore. He's been pardoned. He's traveled abroad now. He's talking about how Tinubu is running his government. We understand all this politics, but that's not why we're here. We have an agenda, and that agenda we set it out ourselves. And our leader is the epitome of this whole thing. He knew exactly what he wanted, because I believe that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wants to come out of DSS dungeon tonight, all he will do is say, I'm fed up with all this. Can I get out him here and cut me my own check? But he refused to do that because Onyendu have sacrificed everything sacrificable. The two parents have gone down 6 deep. And he said, if Biafra will not come, that's what the voice I play. He said, it's better he lower 6 feet deep, as long as he's alive. That is the question you must be asking yourself. And it boiled down to our oath we took. But because of what is going on, I'm reading this. I want you to know that I'm reading, but as I'm reading, I'm talking as well, because I need to analyze what I'm reading. I know so many of us have read this. Now, I go further to say, in the case of Kanu, where Kanu has been in detention for 2.5 years, and it is in public and judicial knowledge that he is in a grievously ill. One would expect that it should be not take almost 1 month to certify the judgment and transmit the case file to the Federal High Court. Why is all this delay? All this delay taxes does not make any sense. But one question you should be asking is that, why is Britain silent? Because even though we went to court here, everything we've done in UK, we have evidence to prove it that Britain is working with the zoo. They are the one writing the script. That is why I said the conspiracy theory of the British government. I wrote directly to Sunak on his Facebook. First time he said people should reach him out. I have not heard any reply from him. So, but we move forward. And from what we are hearing, it might also well taken over months. Contrast this with the election petition cases where judgments are read and sanctified in a little as a day and two made available to parties. Shows you that is a delay tactic. In particular, given the fact that Kanu's case cannot go forward without his case file being physically transmitted to the Federal High Court. So what they're trying to tell us now is that case file is missing, so they cannot do anything. So our leader, you see what they have been projecting, their handlers and their infiltrators we have within, they have been professing all these things. We'll talk about that in a different platform, not here. So you could see what they're trying to do. So the case file is not available. They cannot proceed with it. They have pushed it back to the lower court, which is Federal High Court, but they didn't provide, they didn't certify, they didn't bring the certificate to everybody to know what has happened. So we go forward, and the judgment therefore certified. Any prolongation of taking this step become legal become illegally injurious to Kanu, as he continued to be detained without any immediate prospect of trial and exoneration, which is very, 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 very bad. According and by the press release, we strongly urge the judicial and administrative leaderships of the Supreme Court to take prompt steps to transmit Kanu's file to the Federal High Court and make sanctified true copies of the judgment available to his lawyers. This is what the justice of the case demand at this point in time, signed by Lawyer Jimakwa, Esquire, Special Counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This particular press release was on the 8th of January 2020. 2024. Everything is centered into the judiciary now in the zoo because they are playing their own self, and it is quite appalling the way they have dragged this whole thing. And now the mockery is in the people's domain. Nobody will say they didn't see what is happening. And at the end of the day, one thing is certain here. None of these things that I'm telling you that is going to break our leader or IPOB, the real IPOB members, it will not. Take my word for it. I'm going to come out of it, triumphantly. I guarantee you unequivocally. Now, this particular one was probably saying the same thing, but this is concerning our leader's pronunciation on the legal team. He says, after Supreme Court verdict, Nnamdi Kanu disbanded legal team, 15th of January 2024. This was on the newspapers, national newspapers. Kanu sacked medical team too. Sonia Daniel, so barely a month after he's lost his bid to be freed from continuing detention, the leader of Indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Umeh, has sacked his legal team. Vanguard lands on Thursday, which is this is from Vanguard. What I'm reading is from publication from Vanguard. And a highly placed judicial source confirmed to Vanguard that the change of the legal team was formally communicated to the legal team led by senior advocate of Nigeria and the vocal legal luminary in Nigeria. It is true that shortly after the Supreme Court ruling, Nnamdi, is he mistaken there? I think what they're written here says Nnamdi ruling. What is this saying? It is true that shortly after the Supreme Court ruling Nnamdi, then Ejimako and Nnemeka Ejiofor met with our leader, and he asked them to formally write to the termination of the legal contract and give it to the lead counsel. They have already done that, and the senior advocate of Nigeria has received the letter terminating the contract, which is very formal. This is very important that people pay attention. For those jumping up and down, this is not politics anymore, and it's not business as usual. That's why we're singing it as a song. So he said they have already done that, and senior advocate of Nigeria terminating the contract. The source said on Thursday, in place of the former legal team led by former legal team leader, Nnamdi Kanu has approached another legal luminary from Cross River State to be holding brief of him. They met recently and had some discussion on how best to handle his legal matters going forward, but it is not clear if the former chief legal officer of Nigeria will agree to take up the brief. The source said it was gathered that the detained IPOB leader disbanded his legal team on the notion that the team did not do enough to squash his case and free him from continuous incarceration. It's very important because those that have came, the sole luminary that have came, they lied to us. This is why some of them collected award. Chinua Achebe collected award from the zoo. Remember before the war, but he returned them. Yeah, we know that it's not into our struggle, but somebody need to be careful, especially when you represent. It's happening in America right now. Trump is being indicted more than 4 times. He wouldn't tell me that his defense lawyer will be dilly-dallying with Joe Biden because Letitia James that prosecuting him in New York. Now there's a threat that he's going to the White House. What is he doing in the White House? This is political motivated. So anybody if somebody is fighting against you, why would you be that person's best friend? It is very, very clear that they were not sincere. They were paid arms and legs, they did nothing. So we are back to square one now, back to basis, go back to the drawing board. But it's very important that it is brought in here. People must understand this. He said to have lost faith in the legal team. Why would he not lost faith? We know what happened, and we've been saying it. We'll be sounding it as a warning from day one. They were the real enemy within, which has also not being able to make strong case, never, even to file the common case. Invasion of our leader was not filed. It was a Jimako that did that. They never filed that case for almost 5 years. So at least transfer him from the Department of State CID cell to Kujo prison, which they withdraw this particular paper. They file this, to transfer Onyenu to the Collection Center, but they withdraw it. Kujo Collection Service, where he would have more freedom to relate with his friends and family and relations. Because they know the person that is engineering this, which I'm not going to mention them, I will talk about this in a different program. They know what they were doing, because as long as I said it before, as long as Mazi Umeh, their agenda is to hold Onyenu down. All these riffraffs is saying they have got nothing to offer, but they wouldn't do without mentioning Onyenu. Without Onyenu, nobody will speak to them. But it's quite ironic. It is quite ironic. This thing we will be shouting, but today it is now in public domain. Apart from the legal thing, Kanu also said to be unhappy with his medical team because all these are conspiratorials. They had issue. Because remember, when you wanted a private, physician, they went ahead, want to get it because they want to be involved. That's the only way they can harness to steal. Nothing else they're looking for. And maybe they're proving that they are involved in what is happening. That is why you see somebody will come out and publish somebody's individual personal health record, even if he had it. He didn't have any authorization. We'll talk about that in a different program, which he feels has also not done enough to bring out a convincing medical report could facilitate transfer of his treatment from the DSS hospital and doctors to his choosing private doctors outside Nigeria. It will be recalled that the Supreme Court had, on the 15th of December, upheld the federal government's appeal challenging the verdict of the appeal court, which dismissed and charged against Nnamdi Kanu. The Supreme Court, in the judgment delivered by the Justice Emmanuel Anyimim, but prepared by Justice Garba Lawal, Fulani will do what they said they would do, held that the Court of Appeal was wrong to rule that Kanu could not be tried again based on the illegality, perpetrated against him by the federal government following the invasion of his home. That's why that everything they're doing, it is not in the book. And also the court held, although the Nigerian government was reckless, but there's no justice. Tells you all you need to know. Yes, I'm reading all this because I want us to have it on this platform, though some of you might have seen them. But it's imperative that we digest them. That is why, as I read, I speak over it. Now, the legal team, the so-called legal teams, we now know who are those working for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. You don't project yourself as an employer. If you've been employed, your employee will decide whether you still, have a job or not. It is fundamental in any way in the world. You don't project yourself. You've been sacked at work. You don't rebel against it. If you have issue, then you put it in writing. It's not something you come out and be yapping and making a unguarded statement if you don't have any special interest. It's very important. Now, I'm going to go back and read this press release of today. So today, press release is what I'm going to read. Just to bust less on what I'm saying, it is important that we pay attention to all of this. I think is this here. No, not this one. Just give me a second. I need to get it right. So I got three different press releases. Why is this coming? Okay. Yeah, I think this one here. I think this one here. But it's not him. It is not him. Just give me a second to grab that. I don't know what is going on here. Wouldn't play music as well. So just 1 second. I think I had it too, but I need to upload the.
It was Sunday,
Yeah, sorry. I've gotten what I was looking for. So today is the 17th day. So this particular memo, I think, was released this evening, and it is from our special counsel, Aloy Ejimako. And it's still, because of the violation, there's a Supreme Court failed to release the CTC of its judgment in death failed now because, it is going from December. So this is a month. We're talking about 15. Today is a month and 2 days that this judgment was delivered. And they still not actually sent out the certification of what judgment they have given. So I'm just going to read this verbatim before I say one or two things before I call it a night. Supreme Court failed to release the CTC of its judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's case, violates the Constitution today, makes it 33 days after the Supreme Court delivered the final judgment in the case of Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Mazi Umeh Kanu. Following the delivering of third judgment on 15th December 2023, application we are filed for the release of the certification true copy, which is called CTC of the judgment and enroll order. But to this day, 33 days later, the Supreme Court is yet to comply. And the reason being what no one knows. That is why we say the consequency of the Britain. Now he's quoting the section 36 where the Constitution doesn't mean anything. In bracket 7 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria provides that when any person is tried for any criminal offense, the court or tribunal shall keep a record of the proceedings, and the accused person or any person authorized by him in that behalf shall be entitled to obtain copies of the judgment in the case within 7 days of the conclusion of the case. It is a fundamental right and talks enforceable. Very, very important. It will be recalled that the Supreme Court had in the said judgment order that the case be remitted to the Federal High Court for consideration of a trial. To be sure, the Federal High Court cannot proceed with the consideration of any trial without a certificate, judgment, and enroll order. Similarly, Kano's lawyers cannot proceed with his defense without the CTC of said judgment and order. Signed, Aloy Ejimako, Special Counsel. And it is very, very important that we all must understand that this is not a child's play anymore. It is getting more weirder on a daily basis. People need to realize that the agendas of the fifth colony, it is not something we're going to fold our hands and be watching. And I'm going to make a submission here tonight to fellow comrades and lovers of freedom. And this is the time. The time has come. It is now. It's not about yapping. The radio is here for us to disseminate information and squarely, fundamentally to us, to hear the word and message conveyed by our leader. That is the purpose of our radio. It's not to castigate each other or to blackmail people now. And that is why in this platform, it is not allowed. Whatever we say here is being guarded because this is our national radio. And tonight, like I said, I wouldn't be able to dabble into the zoo news because, quite frankly, it is irrelevant. The most important thing we must push and fundamental question to be put across the globe is that our leader and IPOB, our rights has been trampled upon, and the world is quiet and silent. But we know always when we were in disarray, those that will give us hand, even our leader said that we are not depending on any nation. Now is the question, what are you doing on your own? How are you sojourning on to make sure that our leader that has been 2.5 years in solitary confinement, deprived of his fundamental human rights, and whatever you might not think has happened to our leader, but is still standing firm and believing in this hallowed cause that Chukwukabiyama have ordained. And I join you tonight to understand that what we are fighting for is we're not fighting for ourselves, not even our children, it's for our unborn kids and a black race at large. We must be in our satellite. This 2024, something mysteriously is going to happen. Mark my word. After November this year, something is going to happen in the horizon. Mark my word somewhere. We are not here to to blaspheme. Like when you said, whatever we said, it shall come to pass. Like we told you before, everything we have said before now, there's no room for blackmail. I'll be hosting a program tomorrow in Biafra Alpha Power Media. This is Biafra Radio. Don't mistake the two platforms. This platform is our national platform. I want you to understand that. And there's no room for shenanigans here. And like I said, IPOB worldwide is a time for you to wake up, start answering fundamental questions. Onyendu said, the era, it's an array of enemies within and external. Onyendu urged us to go and watch the enemy at the gate. This is my first broadcast on 2024 on this platform. And like I said, it is very, very important that we key in and ask questions around you because there's a lot going on the background. I'm not saying those that are blaspheming or those that are trying to drive their attention, they'll call them at the back and give them money. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about a hardcore IPOB. And don't forget, Onyendu said that this struggle, we will sponsor this struggle. And Onyendu deemed his satellite. He still said America is responsible because America fall within Canada and etc. They are the same as the North Americans. They have to. They know their responsibility. Europe started it, but Onyendu told you guys, even 2015 when he came to the Igbo Congress, they called him before they asked Buhari to arrest Onyendu. Remember that particular incident after the invasion of the herdsmen, the marauding herdsmen with AK-47. And nothing Onyendu has said. Everything has come to pass. But the era we are now is very, very sensitive. We have to start asking fundamental questions, which you can see that every single individual that have been yapping, you can see how exhausted they are. Because one thing is certain, consistency is the key. They came to destroy what our leader has built and IPOB has built with their blood, to break our leader. That was the mission, nothing else. All this whole thing you see people we are doing is to make sure they talk unguardedly, they speak ill, they send signal to our enemy. That's what they have been doing all this while. And they're still doing it. Like I said, that's the word we choose to speak. You know, they projected about they're going to go after their so-called legal team. Which legal team are you talking about and what they have there done? We know those are doing their job and they still have their job. If you're not doing your job, you're not going to have them. That's how the world works. The real world, that's how it works. Nobody's going to employ somebody that doesn't bring anything to the table. I mean, what? If you're a member of IPOB, go back to your zone. Simple as that. But you cannot be Onyendu's representing Mazi Umeh as what? What have you done? So everything now we knew that all this thing was gimmicks. The man that they brought thinking that is one of luminary, the man collected an award from Buhari, never said it. And that today, everything they say was reversed. It's like they were bribing themselves through the back door. But now everything is public domain, so there's nothing we can do. Only thing we can do now is that all of us need to soldier on and do what you've been asked to do. As an IPOB member, do what you've been asked to do. I'm talking about the hard cause. I'm not saying about people that we have sympathizers and those want to just see themselves belonging. Or there's so many categories of people which I don't really want to talk about any longer, because now we all know, we can see. Everybody have common sense. We have eyes, we have ears, we can hear, we can see. People are exhausted with their shenanigans. Now they're suffocating themselves because they created the whole unrest. Because if people were following due process within IPOB and following our code of conduct, there won't be any argument. I've said it before. If you, as an IPOB member, be you a principal servant, be you a just floor member, if you are following the due process in IPOB, basically said in our code of conduct, if you do what our code of conduct asks you to do, me and you will never have issues. We will never argue. Do you know why? Because there's a distinction in that code of conduct that made everybody could be at peace. That is why there's a paragraph that says you must maintain decorum. Decorum. And blackmailing is one of the things, even is in our oath, we sworn it. You need to speak ill against your fellow comrade. Somebody that are doing, working assiduously to restore Biafra, then you are there to undermine them, to blackmail them, even to call for them, killing them. Even people have died on cause of it. It is very, very important that we guard ourselves and restrain ourselves from certain things that is uncalled for. You know, so like I said, please, we all shall fall back in and start asking fundamental questions. As we are on social media, we are on all platforms. Biafra Radio is on. Download our app, go to Play Store and download Biafra Radio app. Onyendu's past broadcast is being played there. And we are on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube as well. If you have any difficult question or you're confused in any way, you reach out to us. We're here to guide you. But what I'm saying in essence is this. This time around, there's no need of people complaining or giving excuses. There's no room for that. There's no room for that. Because like I said, if we miss this opportunity, I don't know where our race is going to end up with. But remember that what we are fighting for is not just for me and you. We are actually fighting for every single black man that walks upon this planet Earth that will have a safe home. But don't forget that they will not let us have it easy. It's not going to be an easy fight. If you could see what is happening in America today, even America that is looking like a plantation today. The world order, they will do whatever they will do. That is why I see some of us don't even understand what we are in. It's not about talking or making a little noise. No. It doesn't end there. Because these people, they have everything they require. But then he told you that even the Fulani, their war chests, you know how much they have. Because they possess everything we own. But we're not looking up to what their might. What we are looking of our determination is that's the key. And because we are fighting a just cause, because of the universe is beside us, Ukabiyama is there. That's one thing he must not take away from us. This is one thing we have desire to be a human being, not being an animal. In our own father's backyard, we say no to it. All of us have gone into a self-exile as we are today. It is not that me and you, we are comfortable, or yeah, we can claim comfortable, but we are not. Because this is not where we are born. This is not where my baby called we are buried. I don't feel comfortable. I want to go back to my village. And walk, even if I walk as a cleaner, I'll be happy. See it develop. See the community in harmony. This is what we are fighting for. We could have, walk away and do our own thing. Our leader couldn't put himself in this position in the entire generation. No. It doesn't, it's not when someone, just like, I want you guys to pay attention to Donald J. Trump, because a man like that, IPOB supported him, came out openly in 2016. Our people was killed in the watch. Even somebody made a reference that after they killed us, what did Donald Trump do? People talking unguardedly without understanding how the world politics work. But you can see what is happening in America today. Some of you that live in America, we followed him. Now Republican Iowa the other day, he won with over Nikki Haley was about 20 points. Santos, I'm talking about this because you must understand what the world power is he going to shift. Follow up that particular America, what is happening in America, then open your eye what the war is all about. Epstein issue. All these things is what our people don't know what's happening. Think about shouting, it's not about Biafra. It's something beyond. Look at Jeff Epstein, what happened in Ireland. Look at Bill Clinton portrait hanging in Jeff Epstein penthouse in New York on dress. Portrait of former president of America. Painted in his portrait they painted, his picture portrait, hanging on his wall with dress and heels. A former president. That's all you need to know. But some of us think it's about making unguarded statement. Because I don't know where you're looking up to get your help from. The people have murdered your own generation of slavery. These both parts have done even worse. But what we're talking about is a practical thing that we can see. We know, I don't want to go deep in this, but I'll give you assignment. If you want to understand the position, forget about people saying things they don't even have a clue what they're talking about. We're talking about the real world because social media, the podcast has made the word very simple. You can get to people. That is why someone like Elon Musk today will know who he is. We know his, because we don't know who owns Mercedes. We never see these people talking to us, but today at least we see somebody that built, somebody like Elon Musk. What the guy possesses is a self-engineer. It's not like he's someone like, it's not like what's it called his name, Bill Gates, that was just opportune. No. And we know because we know what we are talking about. Power is going to change hand very soon. That is why people must watch what comes out of their mouth. Those that are speaking ill against Israel. Onyendu said, and I'll quote our leader, Israel is our natural ally. I don't care what anybody thinks. And I will say it here, a personal opinion, that if somebody come to my house to kill me, I will defend myself. And I hold no apology to that. I will defend myself to my own best ability. So when people pick sides, be very, very wise. And when it comes to things that we do to a nation, do not make a statement that is bigger than you. There are so many things I could have brought tonight, but I'll leave it. Because I'm going to come back to deal with this issue. It's very, very important because a lot have said, even when they found the tunnel in New York, some people were running with it. You call yourself a Biafran, and you speak ill against the only country that Onyendu have come out to hold their allegiance to. The country that protected our leader. You speak ill against it. You think you're wise. And tell me who is going to be your ally tomorrow. In this particular point of time that Israel is in distress, The same thing that happened in 67. When Biafra was struggling, Israel was fighting. Today, the same thing has happened. Onyendu said, I quote him, that he would never say it openly, any country that is allegiance to us. Our leader was in Israel, he could have lived there for the rest of his life, but Onyendu set an agenda. That is why he left Israel and went to Kenya. He was kidnapped, because if Onyendu was not kidnapped, what are you talking about Biafra? How will you present Biafra issue? What is it that you're talking about? If you like, buy 1 billion AK-47, clean your own self, the world will turn their blind eye on it. You're dying, they don't care. They want, their agenda is to depopulate the world. So some of you more on that understand their agenda. Their agendas they have, but I'm saying it loud and clear tonight. People need to be guarded. Before you speak, or all this media rats on social media, saying things that you don't understand. That's some country that will never speak to you because they knew that you have no moral ground to stand. What happened in New York? They didn't even investigate to understand in that synagogue, what that tunnel was meant for and how it come about. Now, just to smear Israel in this particular point of time, to show you when I say certain individual, with the entire generation, pathological hatred. It can tantamount to anything whatsoever. I rest my case. What I'm saying is that if you are genuine, I stand in the word of Mazi Umeh, and the only man I have ever, except the father that gave birth to me, the only man that I've given my total loyalty to. Since I was born, with all my heart, I will do anything out of my way. It's Mazi Umeh. I don't know him anymore. I don't need to see him one-on-one. I have access to him in UK. And I ask people that know me, I don't go close to Onyendu. Because I know if that man was an ordinary person, I won't be involved in this. I've got a better thing to do with my life, to be honest with you. But I want some of you to be very, 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 very careful. Advise yourselves and stop ridiculing yourself, thinking that you're doing Mazi Umeh ill. Mazi Umeh is a golden egg. He had made his mind up what he wanted for his people. And that is exactly what he's doing. But he's not like something that he's not aware of this whole thing. He knew. He spoke about them. He told you what was going to happen. Before these things happened, he told you. So it's not something that happened out of sight. That's why some of us, we are not moved. We were here 2015. 2015, he announced, tell Buhari that he's coming back home. He went. Myself, I left here, I went back home. I went out 2015 to Abuja. I went myself. We backed it up with action. We stood with them. And today, what is happening today is because, but this is a different scenario that we're in now. This particular era we are have to come and we have to see this era. Because imagine that Onyendu will embark on going to war with anybody. What do you think? How do you think we're going to end up? I want to thank all of you for taking out your time this evening, to listen to us. And I will leave you with our leader's words. Very, very important. I want you to go back and ponder. Because at the end of the day, most importantly, may Chukwu Kaibiyama continue to strengthen us. Those of us that are still holding our head high, understood why we joined IPOB, following the do's and don'ts, the decorums, and our code of conduct to letter. Care about what they're telling you, because at the end of the day, those people that have pointed finger, look at today, the 3 fingers are pointing back at them. They have got nothing to offer. None of them could move a muscle without mentioning Mazi Umeh. Can tell you all you need to know. I've said this before. If by any peradventure that Onyendu wanted money in any shape or form, let's go back and say hypothetically, I use the word hypothetically, that Mazi Umeh can aspire to become a rich man through the misery of our people. Do you think Onyendu will allow his 2 parents to die? I want to be correct. Do you think that man with his siblings you are pointing finger at, do you know what it means to force someone to be deemed to cause the death of his parents and his siblings? They didn't say anything. You know what that means in Igbo land? In any family, we are playing with fire. Because all these individuals that have come out and cast a spell, ridicule, and mocked our leader and his parents openly, without any provocation. We kept records to be very mindful of what you say. Because anything you utter in your word, this, as far as social media existed, anything you have said in the past, we have that record. I want you to be very careful. If Mazi Umeh that live in UK here, he was a consultant in the United Kingdom. You know, I've traveled. There's certain things you must take away in this country that you live here, doing something. You know, you don't need, even if, listen, Queen have over 500 rooms in Buckingham Palace, but people are living in a very confined apartment, but they're happy. I want to say this to you. Why do Onyendu have to lose his house in UK because you want to fund Radio Biafra? That people today sat on to ridicule him and his family, and IPOB at large. I want you to give me one reason. Or do you think if Onyendu wanted money, he should be talking to you, waiting for me and you? Those that want money don't give you space. People wouldn't do it. The same thing happened in Onyendu stole defense fund. Clifford Diruanya and Co. I have to mention his name. Was running with it until Onyendu came out. Onyendu ordered our head of finance. It was in South America. He tell the whole world how much we had as defense fund. Everybody was shouting. It's less than 120,000. America contributed less than $4,000 at that time. I have to backtrack a little bit tonight, because now we are now in a very precarious situation. It requires a very vigorous, attention that everybody needs to come out of that shell to do something meaningful. Not ranting and yapping. People on social media to make their own ends meet. They want to make money to monetize their platform. I heard somebody saying, allow people to talk because my platform is monetized. It breaks my heart. I was talking to my woman the other day. I said, I lost my Facebook account. When IPOB, the Biafra first Facebook account was disabled, my own account was disabled at the same time. Why I'm making this tonight is that Onyendu is still behind bars. People are making a ridicule of themselves. Remember when before Onyendu went to court, people came out and said, after 15, this, that. Where are we today? Have you asked yourself a question? What would prompt them to say those things they said that time? We told you they're igniting. They have got no plan. These are the real people that is holding Mazi Umeh. Because the misery of our leader is where all of them are living out from. But Onyendu knew. I don't feel sorry for our leader. I want to tell you this. Don't, because you know why? It is not me that sent him. A man is on a mission. Take my word for it. So I want to thank all of you. Very important. Tomorrow I will be having a program on Biafra Alpha Power Media. And that program is definitely going to center on the legal team, those flip-floppers. I need to address them to their own level, but I wouldn't do it here. So thank you all for watching, and may Chukwuka continue to guide all of us, give us more wisdom. Most importantly, our leader, Mazi Umeh, will always be with him because he's the one with him there. It's not me. I don't fear for his life because those that hold him understand the consequences. And Chukwuka himself that have brought him will never let him down. Not me, not you that is sincere to yourself, So we all must come together. And now IPOB family members, the real ones, you say 100 men and women with clean hearts. Doesn't matter how many you are. But as long as in every country in the world that will have one IPOB member represent Mazi Umeh, can only say 100 men and women with clean hearts. Imagine we are over 150 countries in the world. If we have one genuine IPOB member, it is time for all of us to come together. And this is the platform. Biafra Radio is where you have to unify yourself. Like I said, everybody needs to key in now because there is an exodus going on, but it must be part of it. Take my word for it. And it's for me from here. This is Good Evening London, from Mazi Umeh here in UK. I'm a gatekeeper for abundance of doubt, for those who does not know. And I still remain, I ain't going nowhere. You know, until Biafra is restored and beyond, we'll be here. Thank you for listening.
Our people are lame. They are weak. I am struggling to count how many men there are in Biafra land. There are no more men left. Weak, docile, and imbecilic. Weak. I don't know how we can take such people to war. I don't know how we can take men who are not men into battle and win. I am ashamed. Very, very ashamed. Nonetheless, we must preach this very gospel because man did not ask us to come. Chukwu Abiyama in heaven mandated that we should come. If not, that I was called to do this very work, I will not speak to any of you anymore. But Chukwu Abiyama said this very gospel must be preached, and we must preach it. I have prayed since yesterday up until now. My request is very simple. The same prayer I made in secret, I will make out here in the open. Chukwu Abiyama biko. Since it is your intention that your kingdom will be restored upon this very earth, I need men. I need men. I did not say boys. I said I need men. Those of them that you created to restore your kingdom, they should come forward now, not tomorrow, not next year. Chukwu Abiyama. You must bring them now. I did not say tomorrow. Because the insult is too much. It is beyond what any human being can endure. We want to go and get Biafra, or we die in the process, because we are better off dead than witness some of this nonsense going on. The level of insult is beyond what any decent human being can tolerate. They bring their cattle into our land. They desecrate our land. They kill us in the presence of our families and nobody does anything about it. And when the police attend, the police sit idly by as people are being killed by not a multitude of people. Only 4. Only 4 Awasa people can sack an entire village in Biafra land, and we call ourselves men. No, we are not men. Until we redeem our honor. Until we look at integrity and say, we must have a part of it. Until then, to be honest with you. This is Radio Biafra.